Hey y'all, it's Leah. I am back with my week 3 of the Junk Journal January project with Ink and Page journals. If you haven't seen this project yet, I highly recommend that you check it out. I will link it below. It is all free. She does digitals every day and a video every day and kind of walks you through what the project is going to be. And you have way more stuff than you will ever need to do one journal. I could probably get 3 or 4 out of the pieces just with leftover pieces and printing a few more pages. There's just so much stuff in these kits and it's just gorgeous. The colors are absolutely beautiful. So let's see what I did for week 3. Again, I'm not going in order. What I decided to do, this is a 4 signature journal. And so what I'm doing is each day I do my page in one signature and then I move to the next signature for the next day. And so that way by day 5, every fifth day I'm back to the first signature. And that way it's just kind of making my journal a little more even, instead of starting from the beginning and then having a bunch of leftover pages at the end, because I will have some that won't be full, that I'll go back in and fill in some pieces. So anyway, so that's kind of why I'm skipping around a little bit. So day 19, this was stamp. This one was way out of my comfort zone to do so many different stamps and things and just like do kind of a flat page like this, with layering with stamps. But I also added in some little pieces. This is the Tim Holtz tape that I just love. I'm addicted to this stuff. And then one of the things Debbie had suggested was taking, if you have like deli paper, running that through your embossing machine. And I had never thought to do that. And I did this I have a wood grain embossing folder. And so I did that and it just gives this really cool kind of texture. So I just added little bits there. The page was actually had more color on it, but then I used my brayer to paint over it with some white or kind of a creamy chalk paint and cover up some of that background. So you see little bits of it sneaking out. And then of course I have to get in my little copper pieces here. And so I'm happy with how it turned out. I don't love like these background stamps. I've tried using them a couple of different times and I'm not figuring out how to use them correctly. But I feel like I kind of integrated them in enough with adding other things over it. So we'll see. It's growing on me. So it's not, I love the page except for those things. So it is what it is. That's what happens. Okay. So this was day 15. This was a few of our favorite things. And Debbie made the suggestion in her video. She didn't end up doing it. She did something different, but she's like, oh, you could go and take pictures of your favorite layouts or things that you've made in this journal. And that just really resonated with me. I was like, yes, that is what I'm going to do. So I went through and I took a bunch of pictures and I printed them out and cut them out. So this was my invoice. Yes, this was the invoice little pocket that I made. So I cut that out and then I just layered. So we had these little specimen cards. And so these are my little specimens of my, so that was day 5 on there. And then this was a tag that I made on day 6. And then I just added these fun little brads. These are these tiny Tim Holtz brads. That I just love. And then I'm loving to stencil on vellum. That's like my new favorite thing. And then I took this piece and kind of did it on the corner because I wasn't going to have room. I couldn't figure out how I wanted it. And so I was like, oh, I'm just going to do that. And then on the back, I did my little day 15. And then this was the tape page on day 13. That I have. And then this was the button. This is my absolute favorite, was the button cards and that button page on day 14. So I thought that was a fun little piece. And then I just went in with my paintbrush and just added in little bits of gold or of copper paint on there just to add a little zhuzh to it. This was day 21 accordion, and these are these fun little accordion. I'm going to open this one. I think that's going to be easier to see on camera. Fun little accordion pockets. Super easy project. Something that would be really cool to replicate in future projects because you could print this out and use it as a template. So print it out like on a heavier cardstock or trace it just so you have that pretty pattern, that pretty shape. And so that's a really fun thing. And it was cool to put it in between signatures because you got that space there. And so it doesn't take up as much space. And then just added, I was so excited. I found some copper thread in my stash and I was like, oh yes, it goes with my copper theme. So I just added little bits of copper thread on there. All right. On to day 16, and this was frame. So this has a picture that comes out. So this has lots of layers on it, and I am having fun using cheesecloth in different ways. I had never thought to really layer it behind something. Usually I guess I use it as a layer on like clusters and stuff, but I'd never thought about like when you're doing, you know, a big picture or something. And so this actually has a piece of cheesecloth behind it on there. So this is this fun little pocket frame in there. And then this actually opens up a little bit. So it's just tucked behind my little frame thing. And then that flips and I've got our day and then just a little piece there that I could add something. I'm definitely going to go back when we're done with the days. I'm going to go back in and just add stuff in little pieces here and there, or if I have some space and some places and that kind of stuff. So this was day 20 and this was flip. And so we've got this pretty card here that can be used as a journal card. Just have my copper paint. I just painted around the edge on that. So that flips open. This is coming up, and this was snippets. This is part of one of my snippets that we had for one of our days. And then I just made a little kind of stacked tag with some lace on there. Actually, the lace could stick out. I might do that. Yeah, and have that over there. And then just pretty hydrangea and some more tags on there. Just doing lots of different layering, and I painted the back of this to make it a journaling card on there. So I'm having fun just kind of transforming printables. So it's kind of, I had done that series a little while ago on things you can do to printables, and I'm learning even more things that you can do. And just Debbie always said, she's like, I don't want to just stick something in there and make it feel like it's just there. So it's like, you know, anything that you're adding to your journals, just, you know, any printables, zhuzh it up a little bit, you know, even just with a little paint or a little wink of Stella, or, you know, put a layer of cheesecloth or something on it to show that you, like, you know, you did something to it instead of just sticking it on the page. And I thought that was a really cool, just a cool concept to think about. And then my last one is actually a twofer. So this was days 17 and 18. So these were snippets. So we just did tons of snippets, long pieces. I learned different ways to do snippets. Normally when I had done them, it was more like take one piece and just layer things on top of it. And she does that, but she also kind of extends, she widens her snippets. And so that was a cool idea, and just adding, I don't know, I feel like I did them differently than I've done them in the past. So that's one of them. And then this was envelope, was one of our days. And so this has a little card inside. So that's got our day 17. So something like this where, you know, you're adding a little tab, some string, you know, this is just, and I'm just pulling the string every time I use my fabric, when it, you know, when it frays, you know, I keep those strings. I just have a little pile, and so you can just add those little places, little bits of the copper leaf in there. Just kind of adds a little pizzazz. And then just turned this into a little pocket. So even on this one, you know, just adding little bits of copper onto the mushroom. And then this was another cool thing to do with the whatchamacallit, the cheesecloth, is just kind of make a little border. This is like folded, so it's like 2 or 3 layers just kind of rolled on there and then glued down, and then I sprayed it. And then I like this idea too of just sort of when you're going to put something on, you know, a lot, I've put pockets on here a lot of times, you know, little flips on my pages, but then just kind of adding something behind it to extend the page is kind of pretty. So I liked that. So lots of great ideas. Highly recommend. I will put her link below, so definitely check it out. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.